Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with a fun layout for Get It Scrapped. I'm excited about this one. So I'm just kind of showing you the Summer Lights collection that I recently got at the beginning of, the middle of July, and I absolutely love this collection. I think I ordered one of every single piece. So you can see I have this cut file, and my challenge or assignment for this month was to create a layout using a bold tribal pattern. And I was at first having a hard time with this. I knew immediately when I got the assignment what photo I wanted to use, but my husband has recently asked me not to make layouts or show pictures of him. And I knew the photos that whoops, sorry about that. Apparently I knocked, I think I remember this, I knocked my head into my camera. So I'll cut this out. Okay, back to my story. So I had these photos of my husband. He went on a mission for the church that we used to go to, and he went to Fiji. And he went to the Missionary Training Center in Salt Lake City for, I don't remember how many weeks, but him and his companions were doing the haka, which is a dance. And I thought those pictures would be perfect for this assignment. Well, I decided I probably shouldn't do those photos out of respect for him, even though it's not like he looks at my channel or anything. I was just trying to be respectful. So anyway, I was going through his Fiji album and I found this photo he took of a sunset, and I thought it was gorgeous. And this was just with an old point and shoot camera. So it wasn't like an amazing photo, but I just thought it was really pretty. So I cut out that tribal pattern, and at first I'm thinking that I'm going to use it on the whole background. But as I go along scrapbooking this layout, I decide that I don't really like the way that it's looking on the background. I should have maybe done some backing, like back to the cut file with some papers or something, but you can see that I kind of cut out the bottom part of it, and I'm actually going to cut it up into 4 separate pieces. So it's going to drastically change from where it's at right now. So I am placing out my layers, or not my layers, my clusters, and my clusters are actually going to stay pretty close to this, I believe, and I'm really happy with how this layout turns out. Okay, so now here you can see I've cut off kind of like borders for the top and the bottom that are going to house 2 more clusters. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to do a little, I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to do a little mat on both sides, and I wanted to offset them, and I think actually that is how it turns out. So here I'm just playing around with the clusters, which I do forever, and then tapping my fingers and bringing things back onto the layout. Isn't this fun? I mean, there's only one picture on here. There's not really much else to do on this layout. And I move the flowers around, and then I move them back and take them off. So it's fun. Make sure that you go on over to the Get It Scrapped blog today to see the other layouts made by the design team with this challenge of using a tribal pattern. Here I'm pulling out some Spiegel Mom Scraps sequins, and I believe I used those ones, maybe not. I used one of those top 2 ones. Wild and Free, I think, is the one that I use. Here I'm using my Tombow Aqua Glue, and it's just in my fine liner bottle. So I'm going to glue down all of these cut files, and then I will be back when it's all done. Okay, so now I have all of those cut files glued down, and I'm just placing everything on the layout again, trying to get it all set to where I want it, or where I had it before, because I had to pull everything off. Don't you hate that? Sometimes I just kind of wish I would just stick it down. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out, and I'm just inking all the edges of the ephemera pieces with some Close to My Heart slate gray ink. So you can see I am just going to fuss a lot with all of these ephemera pieces and everything. It's kind of crazy how much I fuss with this. I have like 5 minutes left, well, probably even more than like 7 minutes left on this video, and I have no idea what else I do. This is pretty much it. So I don't know what took me so long to make this layout. Anyway, so this is not the original photo. I took a picture of the photo, or no, I didn't take a picture. I scanned it in using my scanner, and then I printed it off using my Canon selfie. I forgot to ink the edges of a few of the embellishments and then the cut files. So here you can see I'm just kind of rubbing it on top of all of those. And I kind of do that sometimes if I forget to ink the edges of something. It doesn't bother me too much, and you can't even tell. So here I'm going to move this cluster down just a little bit to kind of cover the awkward little gap that happens because the cut file doesn't stretch all the way across underneath the cluster. So I'm just kind of covering up that because I don't know, having empty space in awkward spaces just kind of bothers me sometimes. And I obviously need to get some more Tombow aqua glue because it's running out. As you can see, I have to like shake it every time I use it to make sure it's all the way down at the bottom. Now I'm inking the edges on this, and this one's, or that is a cute little tag that says the bright side. And then I'm going to glue the flower, and here I'm going to kind of mess around with the placement of this and mess around with the flower that I decide to use, and I'm not sure I used the flower in the end. I can't remember. I guess we shall see and find out together. So I really love all these pretty florals in this Take Me Away collection, or ephemera pack. Is this Take Me Away? I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. And that like bluish greenish one is really pretty. I'm not sure if I actually stick with that one. I should have pulled the layout. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want things to go. I really absolutely love these adorably cute chipboard clouds. They are just so stinking cute. Inking the edges on this flower, and then I'm going to glue all of these things down. Again with the shaking, because I need to not be such a cheapskate and just go buy a new one and throw that one away. I've had that one for like a year. Okay, now I'm going to start dispersing the, what are these, sequins. And I'm using pink and blues on this layout. And I really love how this turns out. I'm not going to make you watch me glue all these down because it always takes forever. But I wanted you to see how I kind of just throw them on the layout and make piles. Okay, I've gotten all the sequins glued down in the areas that I want them. And now I am thinking that that bottom little area kind of needs a little bit more something going on down there. So what I'm going to decide to do is to cut a little piece of this paper off and to create a little banner. So I'm going to turn the paper over and use the other side, and then I'm also going to use the side that I was planning on using with the yellow on it. And I really like how that turned out, and it just creates a nice little area to do some stamping. So here I'm going to ink the edges of these banners, and then I'm going to glue them down. And I'm also going to add a cute little sticker to the left. Yep. Just to kind of make sure that there's no trapped space in there. But I wanted the banner to not be as long as the other one. So there, I'm gluing those things down, and then I'm also going to do some stamping, like I said. So this photo my husband took, and I wanted to make sure he wasn't really sure like what date it was or anything, but he knew it was in the year 2000. And so I'm going to end up, I guess, I thought I was going to do the stamping immediately, but I guess I'm going to do a little bit more embellishing down here on this bottom cluster. Add some inking on that flower, and that's just bringing the floral look down to the bottom cluster. So now here I pull out this Project Life date stamp, and then also this Close to My Heart one. I think it's called Jen's Hand or Jennifer's Hand, and it is actually made by Crafty Jen Scow. And I really liked this, so I'm just gonna put down or stamp down the word Fiji because that's where he was at, and then I'm gonna stamp the year like I was saying. So he knew around what year it was, so I'm just gonna stamp the year 2000. And at first I was thinking I was going to use the rotary date stamp, but then I decided that I didn't like that. So I am going to end up using the alpha that I had already pulled out, and I'm just going to use that black Stays On ink. And I think we're just about done. I don't remember anything else that I do after this. Don't you love that? You make a layout and then you go to record it and you're like, what in the world do I do for the rest of this layout? So I'm going to clean that up and put all this stuff away, put the stamps away. And I'm really happy with how it is looking right now. Okay, I did forget. I am going to add some, I think this is white Shimmers paint. And so I'm just adding that in each one of the corners and the clusters. And then I believe I am pretty much done with this layout. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make this tribal patterns layout, and make sure that you come on over to the Get It Scrapped blog to see all of the other layouts that the creative team has made. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye!